Today's flow is all about opening up your hips. So go ahead, grab a pair of blocks, and make your way into child's pose. You can have your arms extended out in front of you with your palms facing down, and come into your natural breath. Slowly make your way onto your hands and knees, tucking your toes under for more stability, and start to move through your cat-cow. Exhaling as you round your spine, and inhaling as you lift your sitting bones and your chest up. Start to shift backward and forward as you're moving through cat and cow to warm up your wrists and shoulders. Continuing to move with your breath as you shift back and forward. I really like to shift back here in cat pose, as it's a really nice stretch on my lower back. Come to center, inhale and extend your right arm out in front of you. Left leg lifts out behind you. Flexing through your ankle, keeping your toes and knees and hips pointing down. Continue to flow, inhaling to extend your arm and your leg, exhaling to slowly bring it back in with control. Moving with your breath, moving at your own perfect pace. Starting to warm up our core, continuing with the same cat-cow movement, draw your knee in towards your forehead and bring your forehead in towards your knee. Extend and lift your foot up towards the ceiling as well as your head. So think of your cat-cow, and all you're doing is adding the extension through your hip. Changing sides, rounding your spine, drawing your knee and your forehead to meet at the center, really pulling your ribs in and feeling your abdominals contract. Inhaling to extend through your hip, reaching your toes up towards the ceiling, bringing your chest forward and really engaging your glutes to deepen the stretch along the front side of your body. Come back through center, keeping your legs parallel, sit back in child's pose. Kickstand your left foot off to the side and come into a modified side plank. Float your right leg up, grab a hold of your ankle, kick into your hand, and draw your right shoulder blade back. Shift your gaze up towards the ceiling. I call this a modified sugar cane pose. It's a wonderful stretch along the front side of your body. Changing sides. Kickstanding your right leg, floating your left leg up, bending through your knee, grabbing a hold of your ankle from the outside, and kicking into your hand, drawing your shoulders back towards the middle of your spine. Feel an amazing stretch through the front side of your body, and slowly, slowly release. Come back through center and find extended child's pose. Just pause here for a brief moment. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, find downward facing dog. And you can start to march it out here, alternate lifting your feet up, just moving in whatever way feels really good for you now. Throughout the flow today, I will offer you modifications that you can always try, just to make the practice a little bit more accessible. Just lifting your right knee up and opening up your hip and just going through some hip circles. Making the circles as big or as small as you wish. Feeling the head of your thigh bone moving in your hip socket. Keeping your chest and armpits facing down towards your mat as much as possible. Changing sides, bending through your knee and opening up through your hip. Nice and easy. Taking your time with this, you really feel your hip loosening up. Do 3 circles in both directions on both sides. Come back to center. I just threw in a little plank there because I felt to do a little plank. So you can skip it and step to the top of your mat. Pause here briefly and then slowly roll all the way up and find mountain pose. Feet at hip width distance, hands at your heart. Preparing for sun salutations. Inhaling to reach up. Exhaling to hinge at your hips and reach your fingers to your toes. Inhale to step your right foot to the back of your mat. I'm choosing to modify my sun salutations today and place my knee down, but you're welcome to keep your knee off the mat for all of the movements. You're stepping back to downward facing dog or taking child's pose. Shifting forward into plank, lowering your knees down, lower through your chaturanga, and find cobra pose. Pressing your hips up and back to find downward facing dog. Stepping your right foot forward to the top of your mat to find your lunge, and stepping your left foot forward to meet at the top into your forward fold, reverse swan diving all the way up to stand and sitting back into chair. Continue for 2 more rounds. Well, actually finish up this side and then do 1 more round. However, you can do more if you'd like. Try to move with your breath as much as possible as you flow through your sun salutations. If you need to take an extra breath, feel absolutely free to do so. Inhale to step your left foot to the top of your mat, lower your right knee, and reach your arms up. Exhale to step forward into your forward fold. Inhale to slowly rise all the way up to stand, and exhale, sitting back, chair pose. 1 more round, or more, moving with your breath. Instead of stepping back to downward facing dog, you could always come back to child's pose. Adding in a 3-legged dog with a little bit of a hip opener here, keeping with our theme, and stepping your right foot to the top of your mat, and then coming into your forward fold. You can feel free to mix up your sun salutations in any way that you feel inspired to. Last time on our left side, stepping back with your left foot, placing your left knee down, reaching your arms up to find your lunge, and then exhaling into down dog, or remember you can take child's pose. Inhaling into your plank, placing your knees down or not, lower into chaturanga, finding your cobra pose or upward facing dog. Exhaling into downward dog, inhaling to lift your left leg up and stack your left hip on your right. And then step your left foot to the top of your mat, raise your arms up. Step your right foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, slowly rise to stand. Exhale, sit back into your chair. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, release your hands by your side, moving into lateral flexion. Inhale to lift your right arm up towards your ceiling, maintaining the length in your spine, and exhale, reach over to your left. Relax through your shoulders, press into both feet, pull your ribs in, breathe into the right side of your body. Inhale to reach back through center, exhale to release, changing sides. Inhale, left arm lifts up, and exhale, make your way over to your right. Breathing into the rib cage, stretching the muscles between your ribs. Inhale to lift up, back through center. Exhale to release. Bring your hands to your heart and step your feet wider, maybe a shoulder hip width distance. That was a tongue twister. Toes are turning out, heels are turning in. And come all the way down into Malasana, deep squat. If your heels are coming up off the ground here, you can take 2 blocks or a rolled up mat and place them underneath your heels. You also have the option to come into a deep squat, but you don't have to lower your hips as low. Just see if you can wiggle your arms between your thighs to push your knees out. If you're in the full expression of Malasana, you want your triceps to be on the inside of your knees. They're pushing your knees out. You're pressing your palms into each other and lifting your chest up, creating a nice long spine. Feel your feet pressing into your mat and drawing your inner thighs towards each other. Place your hands down and step your right foot to the very back of your mat. Place your right knee down, find lizard pose. You can choose to stay here with your chest lifted and arms fully extended. Or you can roll onto the baby toe side of your left foot, curling your toes up to take care of your shins. So the curling up action of your toes activates the muscles along the front of your leg here to take care of your knee. You can choose to stack 2 blocks and place your forearms on the block to help deepen the stretch. Find which option suits you best and hold it for a few breaths. Gently drawing your inner thighs towards each other. Press into both palms and float your right knee off. Shift backward and forward. It just feels really nice to me. Give it a try and maybe move a little bit from side to side. Come to stillness and press down into your palms and step back to downward facing dog. You could choose to rest here or move through your vinyasa, choosing to place your knees down as I have in the video, or you can keep your knees off if you wish to work a little bit more. And you can step or hop to the top of your mat. Feet will be on the outside of your hands, toes out, heels pointing in, and find your Malasana, second set. Continue to breathe deeply here. Getting ready for our lizard on the other side. Place your palms down and step to the back of your mat. Left foot is stepping back this time. And again, curl your toes under and find the version that feels best for you. Choosing to keep the sole of your right foot on your mat or curling your toes up, activating the muscles of your shin and rolling onto the baby toe side of your foot, allowing your hip to open up just a little bit more. Coming down onto your forearms using your blocks for support, or if you can come all the way down to your mat on your forearms and maintain a nice long spine, go ahead and do so. I'm happy to stay right here. Slowly and very carefully, come onto your palms, place your blocks off to the side, float your left knee off your mat. Try shifting forward and back here, see how that feels for you. If you liked it on the other side, chances are you like how it feels on this side. Shift from side to side, come to stillness, press into your hands and step back, downward facing dog. Hold your downward facing dog, or you can flow. The choice is yours. Inhale and sweep your right leg all the way up, bend your right knee, and gently open up your hip. And step your right foot to the top of your mat by your right thumb. Pop your left heel around and down, and come on up into Warrior Two. Right arm is reaching forward, left arm reaching back. Right knee stacked over your right heel or just behind your heel. Slowly lift your toes up. So your toes will be facing out, heels in. And let's go through a few moonflowers here. Inhaling to reach your arms up. Exhaling to bend through your knees and elbows, keeping your spine long. Squeezing your inner thighs towards each other. Pulling your ribs in. You can do as many of these as you like. I'm going to do a couple more maybe. Yep, one more. And hold your goddess pose or horse stance. Slow your breath down. Really draw your inner thighs towards each other. Press into your feet. slowly make your way into Warrior Two, this time facing the back of your mat, left arm reaching forward, right arm reaching back. Cartwheel your hands down, pick up your back heel, and step back, find downward facing dog. Option to flow or rest is available here. Meeting up in downward facing dog. Let's continue. Take a big breath in, reach your left leg up, bend your knees, stack your hip, and step your left foot to the top of your mat. Stabilizing here in your lunge, and then pop your right heel down and around, and slowly make your way through, or into Warrior Two rather. And now let's slowly reverse your warrior, lifting your left fingertips up to the ceiling, sliding your right hand down the back leg. Transition into extended side angle. Left arm placed on the inside of your left thigh, right arm reaching alongside your ear, creating a nice long line from your fingertips all the way down to the outside of your right ankle. Slowly make your way into a straddle, toes out, heels pointing slightly in. Inhale, interlace your fingers and lift your chest up. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Come into a forward fold. You could actually wiggle your toes in a little bit more so your feet are a little more parallel than turned out. Allow gravity to help pull you deeper into this posture. You can bend your knees here. Slowly come all the way back up. And coming back to the front of your mat, right toes are pointing to the front of your mat for Warrior Two. Inhaling to reverse your warrior, right arm reaches up, left hand reaches back, and down your left leg. Holding it here for a couple of inhales and exhales. And slowly transitioning into extended side angle, deepening your lunge position here, and really opening up the left side of your body. Plant your hands, pick up your back heel, and step back, downward facing dog. If you're feeling to flow, shift forward into plank pose, lower into chaturanga. Inhale, finding upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, pressing your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale to reach your left leg up, and exhale, step your left foot to the top of your mat. Pop your back heel around and down, find Warrior Two. Shifting your weight forward and placing your fingertips in the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Bend through your right knee, grab a hold of your right ankle, kick into your hand, find sugarcane pose. You could always choose to keep your leg extended and remain in balance in half moon pose here. Slowly place your foot down and come into a straddle. And let's go through or come into horse stance or goddess pose. And just hold it here, sink your hips. You're pushing your knees out, keeping them tracking over your heels and in line with your second toe. Slowly transition into Warrior Two. Right toes are facing forward to the back of your mat. Left toes facing the long side of your mat. Shifting into our sugarcane pose. Whoops, picked up a bit of a wobble there. Reaching to the upper right-hand corner of your mat, bending through your left knee, grabbing a hold of your ankle from the outside and caking into your hand, drawing your shoulder back. This is an amazing stretch along the front side of your body, very much like what we did at the beginning of our practice when we were kneeling. And slowly reach your hands down to your mat and step your left foot to the back of your mat and step your right foot back. Find downward facing dog. Shifting forward into plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, finding upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Pausing here to collect your breath. Inhale, sweep your right leg up. And exhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat. Pop your back heel down and around, find warrior two. Slowly straighten out your right leg and tip over like a teapot. Come into triangle pose. Keep a teeny tiny bend in your right knee. Activate the front of your thighs to take care of your knee. Come back through center. Come into a horse stance and place your hands on your thighs. Just going through a gentle twisting flow here. Taking an inhale and exhaling twist, bringing your shoulder towards the center. Inhaling back through center and exhaling to twist. Staying nice and low in your squat, feeling your weight equally distributed between the soles of both of your feet. Slowly come back through center, shifting back to the front of your mat now. So your left foot is facing the front of your mat, left arm is reaching forward, right hand is reaching back, right toes are pointing to the long side of your mat for warrior two. Preparing for a triangle pose, slowly straighten out your left knee, keeping the front of your thighs activated, drawing your inner thighs strongly towards each other, reaching your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Come back through warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down, pick up your back heel, and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, make your way into your plank. Place your knees down if you wish. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, come back to child's pose. Take a few moments here to reconnect with your breath. Slowly roll up, let your head be the last, and bring your legs around to the front. Preparing for cradle to baby. Keeping your left leg extended, bend your right knee, flex your ankle. Place your left hand to support the bottom of your right foot, and your right hand comes on the outside of your knee to support it and keep it in place. Pretend you're stirring a spoon in a big pot and circle. Create circles, one leg circles, or hip circles if you will, in both directions. You can choose to continue to support yourself here, or if you can, take the sole of your foot and place it in the crease of your left elbow, and then continue to draw your leg, your shin, in towards your chest. Only if you can sit up nice and tall. If you're finding it difficult to keep a long spine here, you can always choose to recline and come onto your back. Take your peace fingers and grab a hold of your big toe, cap off with your thumb. As you inhale, you're pushing through your heel, and as you exhale, you're bending your knee and bringing your knee out to the side of your torso. Think of a bow and arrow. So this is archer's pose that we're flowing through here. Do this 3 or 4 times, or maybe a little bit longer if you like. And then slowly bring your foot all the way over. Shift your hips over and bend your bottom knee. Coming into cow face pose. So you're going to scooch your top foot all the way over to the outside edge of your hip. If you find it difficult to sit or have both sitting bones down on the floor here, use a block. Adjust. Make sure your sitting bones are squarely sitting on your block. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, hinge at your hips. Walk your hands forward and come into a forward bend. The forward bend is optional. This is quite an intense hip opener. So you can always choose to stay seated upright if forward folding is too much for you here. But just continue to breathe deeply and allow yourself to relax. When you've had enough, slowly make your way out of it, remove your block, and very carefully uncross your legs. Straighten out your legs, shake it out a little bit, maybe even rub your knees, and then we'll move on to the other side, starting with our cradle to baby. You could always do this lying down if you wish. Supporting your knee and supporting the sole of your foot, and make sure you want to think about pushing through the ball of your big toe here to keep your foot flat. So imagine you were standing on your foot. It wouldn't be rotating out to the baby toe side or maybe even dipping in towards the inner side or the knife edge. So you want to keep your foot flat and supported in your hand. Choosing which option suits you best, cradling the entire shin into your arms, or you can just continue supporting the sole of your foot and then your knee. Then getting ready to head into our archer's flow. Grabbing a hold of your big toe with your peace fingers, extending through your knee and drawing so when you're bending your knee, you're trying to bring your knee way past your torso so you open up your hip chest a little bit more. Coming into cow face pose on the other side, bending your bottom leg here, stacking your knees, sitting up on your block if you need to. Let's check, make sure sitting bones are grounded. And even if they are grounded, for me, this pose is quite intense, but it's a little bit easier on my hips if I elevate them. So maybe it would feel more comfortable for you as well. You can decide what mood you're in and how deep you want to take the posture. When you're ready, take your inhale and make your way into your forward fold. So you're feeling the stretch along the outer hip, where I just showed you. Remembering that we tend to feel stretches where we're most tight. For some of you, you may not be feeling this very much. And for some of you, you may be feeling this a great deal. When you've had enough, slowly make your way out. And very carefully remove your block and straighten out your legs, supporting your knee as you do so. Shake it out gently. Maybe you massage your knees. And then make your way onto your back. Make sure that you're halfway down your mat so that your head is supported on your mat. Bring your right knee into your chest, turn out at your hip, and rest your ankle on the top of your left thigh. Fingertips by your temples, take an inhale. Exhale, bring your left shoulder up to your right knee. We'll do 10 reps here. Exhaling to lift and inhaling to lower. Keeping your ankle of your right foot flexed to activate the muscles of your shin to take care of your knee. Once you've completed your 10 reps here, change sides and do another set of 10. Exhaling to lift and inhale to lower. Think more about bringing your shoulder to your knee and less about bringing your elbow to your knee. So you can really use your obliques to facilitate the twist, the rotation. After your last one, draw your knees into your chest, holding on to the tops of your knees. Or if you're taking care of your knees, hold on to the back of your thighs. Place your feet down, hip width distance. Got it said much easier that time. Arms by your side with your palms facing down. Press into your feet, activate your legs and your glutes, and lift your hips up for bridge pose. You can choose to stay here, or you can wiggle your shoulder blades a little bit closer to each other and down towards your hips. Interlace your fingers underneath you, press into your triceps, and lift your chest up closer towards your chin. Be mindful to keep your neck long here, so avoid dropping your chin towards your chest. You can think about gently pressing the back of your head into your mat. When you're ready, slowly walk your shoulders back out to neutral and lower yourself all the way down. Preparing for a twist, move your arms away from the side of your body. Lift your bum up and swish your bum and your hips over towards the left side of your mat and lower yourself onto your right hip. You can choose to look in whichever direction feels most comfortable for your neck, making sure both shoulder blades are supported on your mat. If your shoulder blade is lifting off of your mat, you can use a towel to wedge between your mat and your shoulder blade to support you. Come back through center, lift your hips up, swish them over to the other side of your mat and lower yourself onto your left hip. If you're finding it difficult to stack both knees, you can choose to place a block between your thighs or use your opposite hand to pull your knees down. This also helps to deepen the twist a little bit more. And once again, choosing to look in whatever direction is most comfortable for your neck. You want to avoid feeling any strain or stress here. This should be very relaxing. Just focus on your breath and allow yourself to sink deeper into the posture. Slowly make your way back to center and make sure that you're fully on your back here. You can choose to come into a reclining butterfly pose. Grab your blocks and place them underneath your knees. Gravity will help to bring your knees further or closer to the ground, thus deepening the stretch. So as to avoid overstretching the muscles, you can support your knees with your block. You can choose to stay here for Shavasana, or if you've had enough or when you're ready, you can remove your blocks and extend your legs fully, 1 foot to each corner of your mat. Arms by your side, slightly away from your body with your palms facing up. If you're more comfortable being on your side or your belly, those options are also available for you. Take a big breath in and exhale fully. Turn your attention inward and allow yourself to surrender here. You can choose to place your right hand on your heart, your left hand on your belly, to guide yourself through a diaphragmatic breath, breathing from the belly into the ribs and into the chest, and then exhaling fully. Stay here for as long as you need. When you're ready, make your way into a comfortable seated position and have a fantastic day. I want to thank you once again for joining me for another Flow Free Friday session. Be free, be true, be you. Namaste.